Hello, hello, hello. Based on our history that I've been taught over the majority of my life, there are many things that we share that are featured on these buildings of ours that don't really jive with what we're told as far as the stories and our differences and events, conflict that we've had. It seems odd to me that we would share so much. Usually I do some reckless speculation on the idea that many of these features must have some sort of function in the way that all of our modems and the technology that we use around the world today looks very similar, while our homes and our fashion and our art does not. Leads me to believe that many of these features are functional in some way, useful. This one is a little bit different. Let me explain, and then we're just going to take a very gorgeous tour and marvel at the amount of these that are everywhere and the talent behind them, and wrap our pea brains around it. If you ever get the opportunity to see a cathedral, if you would not squander it, I would highly recommend that you experience that, even if it's just for a few moments. Even better if there's an organ playing at some point. Well, if you're anything like me, it's something that we easily get overtaken by emotion. The dome structure here, it does wonders to the spiritual character of any interior building. Seems to be no end, no beginning, sort of this perfect reflection of a promise of eternity. People that study these things, scholars, suggest that the dome symbolizes heaven. In some ways, to me, it feels like a weight can be lifted looking straight up into some of these. It's like a conduit for a transmission of positive energy. The power of this kind of architecture, it seems to resonate with our emotion. These elements sort of defy reality. The dome is, to me, it's a mole, Brian. Well, it's like a manifestation of a possible future. Its power over impossibility challenges an imagination in a way that, to me, it just inspires hope and inspires to continue to build and to create and to excel. And domes have a long history. Even if you go by mainstream narratives, it's no mainstream religion can lay claim to it. All churches, mosques, even earlier like Persian tombs and fire temples, you can actually take it all the way back to Plato. Domes have been present, and they mean one thing to someone and another thing to someone else. And I see the dome as an ornament that gives life. It encourages us to approach all impossibility as probability. I see it as an expression and a symbolic representation of a higher power who makes everything possible, rather than interpreting these as objects shaped by sort of social meaning. And so that to me is the mystery, because in my mind, this is what we're for, to create and make the impossible possible. And it seems to me that the fact that these are everywhere, no matter what war-torn region we travel, no matter how ancient or new the history, seems to speak of a time when we had the freedom, we were unburdened, as it were, by conflict. It's like a better expression of us. Our days were brighter, and we were living eternity in our hearts and minds. And so that's the stage that I'd like to set as we embark on a world tour here. Here we go. This one's in the United Kingdom, and look at this thing. It looks like a drawing almost. It's hard sometimes, as you'll notice. Well, at least if you're anything like me, there's a long stretch of these where I almost can't tell what you're looking at. It feels like a cartoon almost. But no, it's a photograph. These are the windows. That's just the way the art renders. And this one looking like a very steampunk dial of sorts. Just beautiful. The proportions on these figures, fantastic. And there are so many of these. This is low on information, folks, and very high on just looking at beautiful pictures. We've seen this one in Austria in this bookstore. Imagine this is your bookstore. Wow. Oh, it's probably more of a museum, it looks like now, but just stunning. Just beautiful colors all around, all of it. Here's one in Turkey, and I believe that you're actually looking up through a chandelier, which is what this is. These are the bulbs, and you're standing just at the very center, looking straight up at the dome here. So kind of a tricky picture. This stunner, which looks like a giant chameleon eyeball in a way, is in Azerbaijan. Little stars around here. What a beautiful building. My light. I'm gonna get burned out of the beauty real freaking soon. Just incredible stuff here. Hats off to you, Earthlings. You guys did great. This is a grand temple, a Freemasons hall, a dome ceiling in London. You can tell that there is the usual who's who of who's who around here. Yes, rather precarious, I know. I attended the last snafu. I'll be fine if I miss this one. Austria, where this one is lovingly beaming down the Lynx Triforce at us, looking a little golden shower-ish, but beautiful artwork. Oh, hey, look at all them eagles. This one is United Arab Emirates. And so, yes, we are capable of creating these things still today. Although, from what I understand right now, it's essentially only a few stragglers that are related to employees that are done. I will say, yeah, we can make these buildings as United Arab Emirates if you have unlimited money and everyone leaves you alone, but it does feel a little sterile. There's something about the older ones that just have a bit more richness, depth to it. I don't know. It just almost feels a little too clinical. That's not to say it's not beautiful, and it's not to say it's not a modern work of art, so, don't beat me up, United Arab Emiratis. This looks like a ruins of a Zerg colony in Egypt. And this one is in Albania, and again, you are looking up through a chandelier of our iron chandelier. You see, this is the base here. There are the lights. And this mesmerizing mosaic is to be found in a mosque in Albania. This is a Catholic cathedral interior in Albania. Look at that, the way that ceiling just wraps. It's amazing. Yes, it looks so cool. So three-dimensional. It's a real mind blower. This is in Algeria. And, these little things on the side, I don't know what they are, but they look at first glance like little skulls, like little 8-bit skulls. But what a beautiful, what a very cool alien portal design you've created there. This is the domed ceiling, the elliptical dome ceiling inside of Sydney Town Hall, and just look at that thing. Looks like a large insect with a long mosquito proboscis getting ready to probe you. Not probing me, dude. He's probing you. That's your point of view. This is in Thailand, the Mary of Assumption, all the way in Thailand, huh? Still building them domes like that. My lands. This beauty's in Belarus, and again, almost looks like a cartoon drawing. If it wasn't for these wires right here coming down for the light fixture, I would think it was a drawing. How beautiful are these, man? It's amazing how many there are. And this is Lithuania. You may remember if you saw that video. Oh, it was a ways back. I'm over here struggling to paint a friggin' floorboard properly, and we got France out here doing wormholes based on perception only. Incredible. Always giving the impression that they're just whirling you right up. And maybe they were. We'll never know. How stunning is that? Keep thinking it's like a cartoon. This one's in Brazil, and they are everywhere. Now, how does this tie into anything? Well, it kind of doesn't. All that it really means to me is that we humans are quite the talented bunch. Now, I don't know how in the hundreds of years of war and strife we had the time to do this stuff. That's besides the point. The mission today is simply to fill men's hearts, replace visions of darkness in men's hearts with visions of hope. And you think this is up in the cupola, this is actually down below of the very same, maybe, dome. I try not to get too heavy with many countries. I was really trying to showcase how they're literally everywhere. So, for example, Spain is hundreds, probably at least dozens. Germany, dozens. Iran, staggering amount. This is almost like a Where's Waldo book, or it's like reverse Smear the Queer, where the person that has the ball everyone runs away from. Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like. They're all shrinking back from this person. Remember that game, Smear the Queer? Oh man, that was fun. I was trying to describe it to someone who had never heard of it, and they were sort of perplexed. Like, so you want to be the guy with the ball, but then you also don't? Right. Yeah, so you're fighting like 30 other dudes or people, kids, to get possession of the ball, only to immediately regret it as now all 30 of those kids are now going after you. Yeah. So it's sort of an endless cycle of fun. This one's in Wales. Not quite it could be a dome. Yeah, base up there, hard to say from that angle. And just how beautiful are these? The imagery and the foresight, the vision. Just to be down here at the bottom here, this is in Austria, and gazing up and saying, you know what, third row, fourth one down, shade adjusted. It's not quite providing the exact lighting to make this thing actually look like it's a space shuttle in movement. So get your ladders back up there, boys, and touch that little thing. It's just incredible. Only such a few amount of people could actually be good at this. And how could you ever practice? Like, you got a bunch of just warehouses out in the edge of town with empty domes laying on your back painting? Not bloody likely. See what I mean about how someone looks like animated? This is in Argentina. The Cupola de la Basilica de San Jose de Flores. And this eyeball is also in Austria. Just lovely. Beautiful stuff here. Here again, I'd like you to note the garb and the position of this person, the items that they're holding, and just soak that in. Do it. It's amazing. You'd think this was animated, like, oh yeah, and then you see the next to this actually, and you remember, oh yeah, it's a photograph of a painting. And this is in the university inside the dome in Austria. It's amazing. Like I was saying, have the foresight down there at the bottom and hold it in your mind's eye, and then the time and the material to execute it. It's so perfect. Just incredible. I like to think that they were created by advanced beings. It just makes more sense that way. This is in Brazil, and God, Just, oh, that's the same one we're looking at. This is the Plenario do Palacio Tiradentes, and this is all glass. Wow, what foresight. This is a ceiling in the Great Hall of Hockey Hall of Fame. Only in Canada could you have a hockey, first of all, only in Canada could you have a Hockey Hall of Fame, and then a Great Hall in that Hockey Hall of Fame, and then this in the ceiling. Canada, you're so weird. This is in Canada also, and this is in the legislative building. I'm not sure about this color, but, and this one's in Cuba. Amazing, huh? Old forsaken Cuba. This is the ceiling of the presidential palace of Cuba. Just staggering. Unbelievably cool. And which Cuban was responsible? Note the little star chandelier here. This is the Spanish synagogue in the Czech Republic. Just look at the geometry. Synchronicity, geometry, lucidity, Danish symmetry, the Christiansborg Palace. We looked at this just a few weeks ago. Our first installment of the Denver Cruise. Egypt. It looks like a drawing. Again, I keep thinking this is a drawing, and then I see the ceiling fan over here, and I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I guess it is sort of an animated drawing. You know what I'm saying. This also being in Egypt, and also being very delightful. In Finland. So cool. There's so many different varieties stylistically, but very similar in the symmetry, isn't it? And some of the symbolism. Rock me, mama, like a dome wheel. Almost looks like a bike tire from our little girl's bike. They always have the white rubber. Where's the rest of the bike? Probably at the bottom of a pond after some tosser's joyride. If I had to take my guess. It's almost like they're being carried away, isn't it? Whee! To the mountain of cotton candy. Carry mother before they're out of strawberry. That one was from France, by the way. Not the voice. The picture. The dome. This one is in Germany. Berlin. Oh, cool, man. Unless this is you guys, you doing a little rainbow pride Last Supper again. You split them up in separate booths this time, or what? I know what you're doing, European Union, you wackos. We ain't buying it. Museum in Germany. Look at that dome. The Wreath of Eternity. Germany. The animated knight's armor. Just like Bedknobs and Broomsticks. That award-winning classic. Like Traguna, Macoides, and Tracorum Satusti. And that may be the most mustiest reference of them all. Everything gilded. Important. That's what gold screams. Who's this little devilish fellow here? Don't mind me. This is also in Germany. I get your little acoustic flowers here. At least they look like to me. Wow, look at that thing. Ah, lands, that's amazing. Unbelievable. It's like the Hadron Collider, which does make you wonder. This is in Hungary, in a mausoleum, and this is a hall under the dome of the National Museum. Almost, this just looks machinery almost. I mean, I'm not saying it is. I do not think it is. It's just delicious. That's all I can say. It's delicious. This one's in India. Kind of famous. You can probably tell. Although that picture sucked. The dome of the MCGM building here. This looks like a freaking drawing. But it ain't. And this is inside of a temple also in India. God, it's incredible. What in the world is going on here? Now, here's what I'll say. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. All the places, the dome, Italy, Spain, all incredible. Even in America, which we'll get to. Incredible. But Iran takes the cake. Maybe not these, per se. They have hundreds. They create the most amazing dome interior. That's just an opinion, but it's also a fact. So you can snack on and chew that like it's baklava. I don't know what if it's funny, these little squinches that they use, this style, but they're just incredible. The geometry is out of this world. And literally sometimes this is a shrine in Iran. This is a light fixture, you can tell. This here. That's here, he indicated using the cursor. I got a curse for you. Bleep you. And they're just fantastic. Some of them, not necessarily these ones. This is also in Iran in the shrine. This almost looks like a Southwest Native American. Some of these, I almost feel like I'm having a DMT flashback or like a mushroom trip. It just takes you there, you know.
And what we have discovered is that when we look inward with psilocybin,
we do not have to look outward at the futile promise of life that circles distant stars in order to still our cosmic loneliness. But rather, we should be looking inward within the paths of the heart of the universe towards a meaningful and disillusioned future. That was probably a terrible Terrence McKenna impersonation. You know I was going with it, man. Maybe that made no sense. This is a garden ceiling, just a casual garden ceiling. It just looks like the Big Bang Theory, just right there on the wall. Incredible, man. These are all from Iran, by the way. They're not some quilt, thrown over your head. Looks, if you woke up and just opened your eyes and saw that, you'd think someone threw a quilt over your head. A quilt of quasi-dimensionality. Perhaps a quilt knitted together
together by self-transforming machine elves.
How amazing is that? And it's crazy because I would swear, this was on someone's album or someone's bedroom wall, that they dabbled in the, they dabbled. But since it's pretty much like staunch, religious, it's on the insides of mosques and things, it's like, no. Perhaps they have found the same sort of enlightenment through religion. I don't know. But man, if there was a mosque in my neighborhood that looked like that, made out of emeralds, this is a mausoleum actually, but that's amazing. Emerald mausoleum, incredible. But if there was a mosque that looked like this, or this on my lands, I'd be like, sign me up, bro. I'll pray 50 times a day inside that building. Like, yeah, back to pray again. Your methods are funny, sir. You lay on your back and stare at the ceiling. That is not how we do things. Well, could you blame me? Look at that friggin' ceiling. That was the ceiling in my house. It was just like, man, can't we just go home, stare and look at the ceiling? It's all I'm ever gonna do for the rest of my days. Wow. This is all in Iran. This is the roof of the Grand Bazaar. Unbelievable. Even the bricks got perpetual motion. Mosque in Iran? God, how amazing. And it's like, yeah, let's just throw bombs around. Freaking humans. Not that I'm blaming Iran for it. I'm just blaming humans, dude. So destructive. But this is what we should be doing. Whatever this happened, whenever this happened, whoever did this, you can form your own opinions or you can believe the stories. This is the peak of human creation in my mind, and I can't not very great at. In fact, I'd say the level of art that I've churned out is probably comparable to that of a second grade. But I like doing it, so I'm just in awe. And this is in Japan. They got their own flair, their own way of doing it, dude. They march to the beat of their own drum. They don't use drumsticks, man. They got chopsticks. That's terrible. They probably play the drums very politely. These are in Malta, incredible church ceiling, with a bunch of tiny demons caught in some sort of a cosmic lazy river from the looks of things. And this is in Cancun, a rather modern looking one. This is also in Mexico, Templo de San Francisco, Puebla. Unbelievable. Pakistan, chiming in. No matter where you go, domes are universal, which is why they earned inclusion on my Questioning World Architecture World Tour. And actually, this is actually sort of a, Jerry, get up. Now that is how you pray in a mosque, you dum-dum. Well, then you better make the carpet at least as intricate if you want me to do that 10 times a day. Unless we're going to change the meaning of jihad. If jihad is, if they got together and said, okay, maybe not death to the infidels, okay? Maybe we force everyone, the infidels, to have elaborate geometric ceiling. Yeah, okay, that's a jihad I can get behind, dude. Sign me the bleep up. And actually, I got an anonymous tip. The very first infidel we could perform this ambush remodel, and I happen to have the key right here. These are in Pakistan. Absolutely stunning. The roof of a mosque. Everywhere you go. And actually, this is this slideshow is actually kind of a byproduct just from me going through all the nations and all the buildings as I have been doing for a few years and data hoarding. And so after a while, I realized I had such a collection of dome interiors that I figured I'd share them with the world. And that's how I got here. That's how I met your mother. Because she's once, twice, 3 times a lady. I have an idea. This is the mother of all Eureka moments right here, dude. He's like, wait, dude. What if the taco shell is made out of Dorito? And who is this very tiny but fully grown man? This is in Russia, so I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but not a funny caption, right? Right, guys? Please don't send it drunk. Oh, man. The fact that this last stretch has been in America is just mind-blowing. This one is in Illinois, in the capital, and it really makes no sense once you get here. This is in Iowa. None of it makes sense. We don't have people that know how to do this stuff. You bring them. We shipped an Italian from around the Horn. Just bizarre. That cop have no shirt on? That mural? There's no place for that here. Am I seeing things? No, I didn't have no dang shirt on. What's he thinking is, put a shirt on, Randy. I don't wear shirts, Ricky. This is in Frankfurt. It's the Kentucky state capital. Another shaka. And look at this. What do we have on the wall here? Well, the old windmill. This is a Michigan interior of the capital. Incredible. So it ain't just the outside that those buildings look beautiful. It's the inside as well. Like this is Minnesota state capitol dome. Absolutely stunning. This is Mississippi's old state capitol building. Saw the new one. This one's inside the state house in Mercer County, New Jersey. Unbelievable. This is Oklahoma State. And I mean, it just looks like they swapped out old symbolism for there's already a star up there. We just make it look like a sheriff's badge. It's more fit. This one's in Providence. And this is the Rhode Island State House dome, which is actually the
fourth largest marble dome in the world, right behind the Taj Mahal and a few others. Isn't that ridiculous? Rhode Island, like 5 people live there. I know it's wealthy, but this one's in Austin, and this one is in Utah, the state capital dome inside of Utah. Unbelievable, ominous sort of a bull. That's Wyoming. And this is the Emporium Dome, a very modern one in California. This is in San Francisco, but it's of the city of Paris. Wrap your pea brain around that, will you? Monroe County Courthouse in Bloomington. This is inside the New York State of Appeal. This is the New York Great Dome interior. And inside the Capitol, we'll wrap this up with this one inside the Capitol. Very, very curious how we just all around the world just decided to just build the same exact way with the same skill. It really is incredible. I feel like, sometimes I look at these, I feel like, and I'm not saying that this is what it is, I'm just saying I feel like up close, it's like technology that we don't understand. It's almost like if you zoom in on a very microscopic level, like certain insects, like their eyes, like flies' eyes, or certain machinery, circuit boards, when you zoom in, are actually relatively beautiful and complex with their layout. Sometimes I just feel like we're just like inside of a bunch of industry stuff that just looks cool to us because we don't understand what we're looking at. And we paint flowers and angels on it. That cool graffitied my motherboard, bro. Dude, you guys drew all over my subwoofer. Anyway, I hope I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did going over them. I mean, I've got a lot more, but that'll do for now, mate. And I'll see you soon.